Let whichever of your knights is boldest of blood and wildest of heart step forth. Take up arms, and try with honour to land a blow against me. Whomsoever nicks me shall lay claim to this my arm.
Welcome to the final episode of Movie Night Adventure. We've had quite the journey, traveled across many universes, and now sit waiting for our algorithmic reward. It's fitting that our final episode is the oldest story adapted into the newest film. We are talking about David Lowery's The Green Knight, which came out in 2021, but got lost in the pandemic fray and snubbed at the Oscars. The Green Knight is a 14th century poem written in Middle English as part of the Arthurian canon. It tells the story of Sir Gawain, a knight of Arthur's Round Table and Arthur's nephew, who takes up a challenge of a mysterious Green Knight to strike him with an axe in exchange for a blow in 1 year. Whoever takes the Green Knight's deal will get to keep his battle axe. Sir Gawain takes up the challenge of this Green Knight's game and beheads him in Arthur's court. Expecting the Green Knight to fall dead, he is surprised when the Green Knight picks up his head and tells the court that he expects to see Sir Gawain in 1 year at the Green Chapel for his return blow.
1 year hence.
As these are the days of the chivalric code, Sir Gawain is expected to go meet the Green Knight and fulfill the great bargain. He rides off to meet his fate, getting into many unspecified adventures until he finally reaches a castle. The lord of the castle allows Gawain to stay and rest, in exchange for another deal.
I hunt tomorrow, and the day after. Whatever the forest offers me, I will bring you home the best. And you will give me, in turn, whatever you might receive here.
Dude, stop taking these deals. This turns into a slightly homoerotic Arthurian fantasy, as the lord's wife tries to seduce Gawain, and he trades kisses for food. Because of the chivalric code, Gawain refuses the ring that the lord's wife tries to give him. However, he breaks the deal by keeping a silk sash the lord's wife says will protect him from physical harm. Finally confronting the Green Knight, Gawain flinches, expecting to lose his head, and is chastised by the Green Knight. Gawain tells the Green Knight to do it, and receives only a slight cut, which was because he kept the sash. The Green Knight starts laughing and explains this was all a trick from Morgan Le Fay to test Arthur's knights. The Green Knight has had several translations, including from J.R.R. Tolkien, who said that Sir Gawain was the hardest character to interpret. Scholars have also sought to interpret the color green, which often has contradictory meanings. It can mean fertility and rebirth, but also evil and witchcraft, and misfortune and death.
Why is it green, do you think?
The night.
Yes. Was he born that way?
Perhaps it is the color of his blood when he blushes.
But why green? Why not blue? Or red?
Central to the theme of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is the chivalric code and temptation. The Green Knight has been adapted multiple times for film, opera, and theater. Most notably, before David Lowery, it was adapted twice by the British filmmaker Stephen Weeks. First as a straightforward 1973 live-action adaptation, and then as a 1984 version called The Sword of the Valiant, which featured Sean Connery as the Green Knight.
Just as every green shoot of spring returns at last to the earth from which it woke to life, so return I.
The Green Knight also appears briefly in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. David Lowery wanted to create his version of a medieval Arthurian fantasy, a story of a knight on a horse.
I grew up just loving the Arthurian legends and all the stories of the knights and their quests. And at some point, a couple years ago, I kind of felt like making a fantasy film. I really love movies like Willow and Excalibur, and I just wanted to make one of my own. And I remembered this poem, I remembered this story, and thought that it would make an excellent template for my own take on a medieval quest film.
He cast Dev Patel because he saw his Gawain as flawed and unlikable, but still wanted a hero that people could root for.
Are you real or are you a spirit?
What is the difference? I just need my head.
Lowry's version of the story is far more psychological. We are with Dev Patel all the time, unsure of what is real and what is in his mind. Lowry fills in implied gaps in the Arthurian poem. Gawain has encounters with Saint Winifred, a Welsh martyr who was beheaded in the 7th century.
This lord sought to lay with me. I fought him off, but he returned in the night and broke down my door. I tried to flee, but he cut off my head.
Gawain's relatable doubt and cowardice is reinforced when he is robbed by some random teenage scavengers. Gawain is Arthur's nephew, but not by Arthur's stepsister Morgan Le Fay. However, in this adaptation, Gawain's mother and Morgan Le Fay are turned into the same unnamed character.
But his mother's a witch!
After writing a much less ambiguous and more faithful ending, Lowry decided to scrap it and make the ending more ambiguous. That might be just as well, as this well-trodden psychological journey feels far more intriguing when it's open-ended.
There. Now I'm ready. I'm ready now.